Hey guys, welcome to American History. My name's Mr. James, going to be your teacher for this semester. Really looking forward to this class. This video could apply for both hybrid track and virtual track, but for the fall semester, we're just teaching a hybrid class of an American history. So I just wanted to give you guys a quick tour of the Google Classroom, as well as give you guys some details on expectations for notes and note-taking and things like that throughout the class. Because a lot of the learning that we're going to be doing is going to be kind of on your own. You're going to be reading some material, engaging in some videos, things like that. And so it's important that we slow down and put our processes and our thinking on paper or in some sort of digital format. So I'll show you guys the class, what we're doing this week, and talk a little bit about notes. All right, let me take a look here first in Google Classroom. You should all be enrolled in a American history class. So you can click on that and come over to the classwork tab here to kind of see our week one. First thing I encourage everyone to do on Mondays is check out the master schedule here. I'll have this linked out in the resource page. I'm also going to try and do a short video, shorter than this one, just walking you through the week on how to do everything. But if you open that master schedule, you'll see it actually pops up on the top here, and you can use this to navigate to whatever week we're in. So August, week one, and it'll take you down to week one pretty quickly here. And then all you really want to pay attention for is the class that you're in, which is, of course, American history. So we are actually going to meet, hybrid class is going to meet on Mondays at 10:30. So that second hour block in room 103. So you'll probably be watching this after we have met. But if you missed class or something like that, just know that Mondays 10:30 is our live class time. Right now you're doing this play pause it, setting up American history, getting the class tour, all that stuff. And then the rest of the week you really are going to be engaged in the digital content on chapter 4, section 1, section 2, and then section 3 and 4. Just know when I'm assigned readings and notes and things like that, I usually put some sort of pacing guide for you guys, but you are free to go as fast, or if you need to like do section 1 on Thursday, if you got to slow it down and kind of do things maybe over the course of 2 days instead of 3, you're totally welcome to do that. The notes and the overall assignment on the American Revolution is due by Friday. So I encourage you, don't procrastinate, don't save it all on Friday, because it is, it is about 35 pages of reading and notes and a digital text that you have to engage with. So I try to chunk it out for you guys that if you are spending a little bit of time each day, it should be manageable for you. Let me show you guys again in the Google Classroom too. You'll see we have the week 1 notes, American Revolution. That is what you just saw on the master schedule here. So think of this just kind of as your schedule. When you're filling out your planner or your task manager or your digital reminders or whatever, this is where you could piece that out. And then the actual assignment is in Google Classroom. So you'll see if you click on it, it's going to link to our online textbook, which is also here in the resources. I'm actually at home right now and I couldn't get the online textbook to open up. I think it's just kind of going through a maintenance piece. But to get to the digital textbook, you come up to your PSD bookmark tabs in Google Chrome here, PSD bookmarks, and then come to the Cengage login, and that will take you to the digital textbook. Cengage login right there. Like I said, it wasn't really loading for me on Sunday. If it's still not loading, let me know, and I'll put in a help ticket to IT or something like that. If you guys also want a physical textbook, I have a bunch of copies in my classroom. They are pretty heavy. We're not going to be reading the whole thing, so don't worry about that. But if you want the physical text, if you just kind of get tired you know, reading online or something like that and want like a physical one that you can flip through, I can totally check one out to you. Just let me know, and I might even ask you guys on our first day or maybe in week 2 if anyone wants a physical textbook. But physical textbook definitely matches up with the online material. I just can't I'm having trouble loading it right now while I'm making this video. So the week 1 notes that we have, this is for the entire week. We're jumping right into the American Revolution. Since we're on the block model, we are just going to kind of do a quick overview of what you guys did in 8th grade. American Revolution, you know, the early 1800s, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, and get up to the Civil War, and then we'll start really slowing down and digging in. So this is where we're kind of jumping right in. You can see there are some points tied to our notes because I actually want to see what you guys are doing for the notes this week, as well as a historical thinking question that you need to complete. I won't read all this, the points, the directions, you guys can read that, but I will just kind of point out this pacing guide that matches up exactly with what we were doing in the master schedule. And then you'll see a couple links down here. HTQ, that stands for Historical Thinking Questions. Some of these might be optional or additional. Some of them might be required. Always make sure you're reading the directions. But this is kind of your assignment for the week, is when you're done with the notes, to come into your copy of the historical thinking questions and answer these questions based on the section of each notes that you were in. So you might want to keep this open, and like when you're done with section 1 of the American Revolution chapter, you can just answer them and then close it. Go on to section 2 on Thursday, answer it, close it, and all that good stuff. So that's historical thinking questions. And then I'm going to ask you guys to submit a picture of your notes that you took on the reading, as well as what note-taking method works best for you. So let me jump into that real quick. I just want to say on notes, I don't want you guys rewriting the textbook. There's already been a lot of professors and professionals that have written a textbook on American history. So taking notes is, the point is not to rewrite the textbook. The point is for you to slow down your reading a little bit, reflect in your notebook on the topics, some of the key terms, and the main ideas that you're exploring and reading about. So this kind of jumps into different note-taking methods. I built a web page that I'm going to have you guys kind of explore today a little bit. Let me close this down. And I think the best note-taking systems are what works for you. I'm not going to force you guys to do the Cornell method if that's not a system that works for you. I'm not going to force you guys to do the outline method. I do think that the outline method, Cornell, and the mapping method are the best note-taking methods for social studies. I'll tell you guys, when I was in college and even high school, I preferred the outline method for my history classes. I just think you kind of have that main idea there. You can do your subtopics, and then your key terms or key points that you usually find in bold in the textbook are outlined there. So outline method, I know a lot of you guys have probably seen the Cornell method. I think that one's also great for social studies. And the mapping method doesn't really work for me, doesn't really float my boat, but some people like it for like connecting main ideas and making big mind maps and things like that. So if you click on any of these, it'll give a little more detail and examples of what it looks like. I might come and update some more videos and things like that here, but I wanted to keep this very simple and not too bogged down for you. And this guy, I like this guy. He does a lot of study strategies and study skill YouTube videos, and he has a quick video on the 5 best methods for notes. and that he includes all 3 of these as well as some bonus ones if you want to check out that video too. So point being is I want you to use a method that works for you. You do get points for your notes. It's roughly 10% of your grade in this class is keeping a notebook and taking some notes in the class. So that's the note-taking method. Now there are, kind of rolling into 2021, 2022 here. Some people still really like keeping a physical notebook. And I'm going to ask that you guys please bring a physical notebook to our live class session for each live class, because during our live classes, I might have you guys get out a notebook and just jot down some ideas or some reflections or things like that. So always have a physical notebook. You could take your notes as well in that same notebook. You could, do all your American Revolution notes in this physical notebook that you keep and just have one notebook. I had last year a lot of students preferred to keep a digital notebook, and that is okay too if you want to keep a digital notebook. You could always, keep your notes in like a shareable Google Doc or Google folder and share that folder with me, so when it comes time to do a notebook check, I can check your digital notes. Now, one thing that I'm also creating for you guys is a note guide. So you'll see in chapter 4 here, we have a note guide. This will pop up, and if you want to just keep digital notes, or you could always make a copy of this. Okay, so you could go File, make a copy, and then maybe you keep a folder of American History notes, and you share this folder with me. Okay. And you can put instead of copy of student name, which would obviously be your name, right? And then once you have that copy, these Google Docs you can fill out. So as you're coming through reading chapter 4, section 1, pages 110 through 117, I create different graphic organizers that you guys can use. So this is one way that you could also take notes, is doing these different graphic organizers and activities that I've created for the different sections. Now this seems like a lot, and that's because it kind of is. So some of these methods might not work for you. You might get down to section 3 and be like, oh, this A-B answer thing doesn't really work for me. I'm just going to take a different type of notes. You could always come up here and just, delete this section and go into doing the outline method for your notes. So, you could do outline method in a Google Doc. You could do Cornell. Mind mapping might be kind of hard, but you could definitely, if you come up with some tables or things like that to map things out, you could definitely do that too. Likewise, if you're keeping a physical notebook, you could always maybe get like a small binder and you could print these out and keep them in your notebook, or I could, I'll try and print them out and have them for you on Monday if you prefer that, if you prefer writing your notes and you want to use this method, these note guides that I create for you. So that's an option. Another option, if you don't have a printer or something like that, don't worry about all these fancy icons and things like that. You could always just open up a notebook, right? And at the top, write chapter 4, section 1, page 110 to 117, and then you're just quickly making a T-chart, restrictions, revenues, and as you're going through the reading, you fill out the T-chart. So lots of options. Okay, I'm showing you guys a lot of things, a lot of different resources that you can use. The main point is that I want you to keep a notebook. Okay, I want you to keep it organized. It could be digital or physical. And then whatever method of notes works for you, I want you to do that. It's outline method, Cornell method. It's using the note guides that I've created. All that works, and all that works for me. Okay. So last thing is when you're all done, when you've completed the historical thinking questions, just come up and mark it as done with a picture of your notes, and you're all set for the week.